Now, Swami Dayananda says a very interesting thing. What he says is that people don't live in reality. They live in their own private world. Now, I just want to explain a little bit and talk around that to make it clear what he means by that. Let's imagine I've acquired the value of becoming a very approved of person, a person who's loved, approved of, and has got status. Let's imagine that that's what I'm going for. And I feel that my life and happiness depend on me being a person like this. Now, everything I encounter now is going to be now seen in the light of that value. In other words, if someone comes up to me and says, you know, you're just such a wonderful human being, you know, you're very, very impressive, I will experience a titillating feeling of, oh my goodness, I feel pleased within myself. Not only that, I will project onto that person and say, they are such a nice person. I mean, this person is, not only are they nice, they're also perceptive. If someone comes along and says, you know, really, you're just nothing, you're just, you know, you're a pathetic individual, that person, then what is going to happen is I'm going to feel a kind of a deflation feeling. I'm going to feel my sense of myself as a failure, or a person who's unloved. And of course, I can't help but look at that person in that light as well. I'm going to look at them. They are a bad person. They're no good. They're horrible people. They've hurt me. So what I've done in both cases, I have projected a meaning, a subjective meaning onto that person. Because they make me feel good as a person, and because they help me get what I want, in other words, to be that person who's loved and approved of, they are nice. Or because I feel like I'm terrible now and diminished as a person, I don't like them. So you see what I mean? That because I am caught up in this subjective value that I, as a person, must be in a certain way in order for me to be happy, I see everything in relation to this. Now, if there's something in the environment that is indifferent to this, that doesn't help me feel good or isn't going to take it away from me, I then project onto that person or situation indifference. It doesn't matter to me. When in fact it might be quite important objectively. But subjectively, what happens is I'm caught in a subjective bubble. And my whole psychological life is a reaction, in the sense that when I'm becoming the person I want, it's like I feel good, I feel great, I feel fantastic. When I'm not getting what I want, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling depressed, I'm not happy with what's happening, or I'm feeling angry that could be happening. It doesn't really matter. But what's important here to see is that we can become very, very enclosed in subjectivity. But here's the trick. That subjectivity is never experienced as subjective. In fact, it's experienced as totally and utterly objective. So when someone doesn't give you the respect that you need in order to feel the type of person you think you need to be, you will experience them as someone mean or as someone horrible or whatever. Now, you don't see that is a projection, where you project it onto them, they're a mean and horrible person. You are actually experiencing a mean and horrible person in front of you. And so you're not seeing that what you're seeing is actually a projection of notions that you have within you out, and it's being experienced as totally subjective, as objective. Now, this is the whole thing with subjectivity. Subjectivity is never, ever experienced as objective, as subjective. It's always experienced as completely and utterly objective. Imagine when you think someone's a real horrible person or a nasty person. You know what I mean? Someone's hurt you and you don't like them. Your opinion of them, you're not aware that you're having an opinion of them. You are experiencing them in a certain way in relation to you, and that's what they are. You don't see that, so you think that the reality that you're seeing, mean, horrible, nasty person, is completely independent from your mind when it's not. So what Swami Dayananda is saying is that normally speaking, human beings, under the sway of their desires and aversions, and that's what the psychology of the Gita is all about, desires and aversions. I want to be, or I hate that happening because when that happens I can't be that. That, when I'm living my life in the context of my desires and aversions, I am never, ever seeing, I'm not living in the world, in the world that is given. I'm living in a world of my own projections. And so I'm isolated as an entity. I experience myself as an isolated entity from the whole. Everything has to be fought with. Everything that I want has to be grabbed. Everything I hate has to be pushed away. And everything that doesn't help me in any way become the person that I want, in other words, satisfy the desire, I will ignore. Now, the big question is this. How is it possible to be able to resolve this subjectivity? Because if I as a subject go, I want to be objective, there's a big problem here, because what happens is that that's still within the context of my subjectivity. So I have to somehow come across a way in which I can shift from being caught up in my own subjectivity to living in the real world. Now, this is extremely difficult because my psychological life is constantly working. I'm either experiencing myself in a positive way, yippity-yup-da-da, or in a negative way. Oh, this is so sad. So there's always this constant spectrum of feeling good about myself, gratified, self-gratification. Yes, I like myself. It's fantastic. Life is great because I'm great. Or life is bad because I'm just not really cutting it. So we have this constant, I'm constantly living out an experience of myself as a person. I'm taking myself to be either this wonderful, magnificent person that I want to be, or I'm experiencing myself as the person that I really don't want to be. And my whole psychological life revolves around this. Now, the whole thing with the psychology of the Gita, and it is a lifestyle, a way of living in which I live in the world that is given, not in a world that is projected from my desires and aversions. And this is a very, very important thing, because while I remain enclosed in this, all of these self-notions, I'm not in touch with anything real. And I'm not related in a harmonious way with the whole. That's completely impossible. So it's only when I live in the objective world as an individual in harmony with the whole do I move beyond my subjectivity. And that's what I'm going to be talking about.